Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. Thank you so much for joining us, and I am your host, Ben Crossman. We have a great show planned because, well, it's Friday. Yeah, and Fridays are always fun, but we also have, we always save the best for last, as usual, with Ralph Bond himself. And Ralph Bond, he is a longtime Computer America correspondent, been with the show a number of years, and is always a great show to check out. So if this is your first time tuning in, or, you are a regular, then, hey, we're going to have a lot of fun. So, before we get started here with Ralph and everything that we do here on Friday's show, some things that we should talk about, including ComputerAmerica.com. That's where you will find everything, including, of course, the show notes, which have things like links to any source that we do. We have the cheat notes, so that everything that we do today with Ralph, he does a really good job of putting everything together into one easy to read document that has links to articles, to videos, and just makes it so much easier to to do a little bit further research if you so choose. But also at Computer America, we of course have our video stream where you can check out the video portion of Computer America, where you can watch us and not just listen. That's right. And the last thing is, and this is special because we have a contest that we do every single Friday with our friends over at Logitech, where we give away an M720 Triathlon mouse. It's a single mouse that runs for 2 years on one AA battery and lets you control up to 3 computers all through Bluetooth. It's a really great mouse, and we enjoy giving that away, which we will be doing that later on in the show today to a lucky listener. We will read their name live on the air, and hey, if you entered, well, we could just be reading your name. All right, so I think with that out of the way, let's see. I think that is just about everything. So, wait, one more thing that I really should mention a lot, because this is something new and we are very proud of it. But yeah, Computer America can finally be found on iHeartRadio. That's right. So iHeartRadio has a huge audience, and been trying to get on that for a couple of weeks now, and we finally got the green light. We are on it. So if you have access to iHeartRadio app or streaming or anything like that, well, hey, you can sign up and listen to Computer America on there. Makes it that much easier. All right. Now, with that being said, welcome onto the show. Once again, should not be a stranger to anyone but Mr. Ralph Bond himself. So let's see if we can get him on here. Ralph, let's see. Ralph, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's great to be on the show. We have a great lineup, and just delighted to be with you. And I'm really glad to hear about the iHeartRadio thing. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, if anyone wants to find that or anywhere else that we're carried, please head on over to our website, and right there in the podcast, we're trying to get on every other service. Like, we had talks on The Office, like, should we make, a Computer America app and blah, blah, blah. But, who really wants another app on their phone? So we're trying to get on everyone else's app. So iHeartRadio is a big one. Very proud of that. So thank you. And yeah, we do have a great lineup. So, and also, as I mentioned, show notes, check them out.
Yeah, the show notes are great, folks. As Ben was saying, go out to the website, get the download, because it'll give you all the information, as Ben mentioned before. It'll have the pictures, the links to the stories, and so forth. And we've got a great lineup. But you know what, Ben? I have an important, life-changing announcement to make before we dive into the stories. Are you ready?
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
You'll laugh. This is a joke. Hallmark Channel. Okay, you know the Hallmark Channel on cable TV?
Of course.
That has all those schlocky romantic comedy movies and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, check this out. they recently announced that they're going to produce 33, let that sink in, 33 brand new holiday/Christmas theme movies for this December. 33.
Now,
What?
and Ralph, I mean, when you hear 33, do you immediately, kind of question quality, or do you say, "Oh man, 33, I can't wait"?
Oh yeah. Well, see, yeah, a combination of both. Because part of the joy of Hallmark movies is the absolute predictability most of the time of the storylines, and the reuse of the same actors and actresses over and over again. They're very much like the old studio formula from the 1930s and early 40s, where MGM or Warner Brothers would have a corral of actors and actresses under contract, right? And they'd keep using them over and over and over. And if you watch Hallmark movies, which I'm guilty, I love that stuff. It's very mind relaxing. They have the same actors and actresses over and over and over again. So part of the fun is to see what kind of characters they'll be and what kind of schlocky, gooey stories they come up with. It's pure silly candy.
Well, and I take it back that that's not life changing, but it's still very interesting. And someone out there, I unfortunately I'm not too much into cable anymore. I don't know about you, but I am so engrossed in Netflix and streaming and everything that is.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they make a deal with someone and those come to a platform that is more accessible to me. But no, very, very cool.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
All right. So, but that is not computer and technology news, folks. If that is not what we do here on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's right.
What we focus on here is computers, technology, and Ralph picks out some of the most futuristic, most high tech, most kind of and in most cases really kind of life affirming, awe inspiring stories. Like, I walk away from these shows, Ralph, with a sense of hope for the future. That is really what I take away from our shows together. So, yeah. So
yeah.
Why don't we get started?
It's all about a lot of it is science frontier stuff of late. I think in the last 8 months or so, I've kind of drifted not away totally from product things and that sort of stuff, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love that stuff. And if I see a product that I think is really cool, I'll talk about that on the show. But as you know, Ben, the last, 8-9 months or something, more and more I'm drifting to talking about these science frontier stories that do give us hope, right, to your point? And I think our first couple of stories, our first two stories are a bit lengthy, but well worth it, I would hope everybody agrees. And both have to do with water, which if you're up on climate change and all the issues going on around the globe, getting water for our populations going forward is going to be one of the most critical, fundamental challenges we face, right? So the first story comes from Engadget. It's a story by Andrew Tarantola, and the title of the story is Researchers Can Now Desalinate Seawater with the Power of the Sun. And of course, when I see headlines like this, I go right to that because I figure there's something really cool going on here. So once again, a little bit of a long story, but bear with us because I think it's really cool. So here we go. Here's parts of the story here. One of the oldest means of extracting potable liquid from seawater involves distillation, basically boiling the water into steam, then cooling the purified vapor in condensation tubes. I think we're all familiar with that, right?
Right.
Problem is, the method is incredibly power intensive, with nearly half of the input energy going towards just boiling the water. That's the problem, right? But a team of researchers from Rice University have developed a new technique that not only drastically reduces the amount of energy needed, but can decouple the process from the power grid altogether. Let that sink in. Here comes some more on this. The research was carried out at the federally funded Center for Nanotechnology-Enabled Water Treatment. The Center for Nanotechnology-Enabled Water Treatment, of course, it's an acronym, NEWT, which I'll just call NEWT, at Rice University. Since its formation in 2015, NEWT has worked to develop a technology called nano photonics help me out with that.
Nanophotonics enabled solar membrane
photonics,
distillation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Photonics. See, nanophotonics.
It's a
You
long
and Craig
word.
are always so good at helping me out with that. Well, yeah, it's a long word for me on a Friday. And, of course, that becomes an acronym, NESMD, Nanophotonics Enabled Solar Membrane Distillation. So with that mouthful, let's dive in and find out what this is all about. So the article goes on to say, in this method, flows of hot and cold water are separated by a thin membrane. Water vapor is drawn across that membrane from the hot side to cold, straining out the salt. This uses much less energy than distillation since the water only needs to be hot, not boiled. To further improve the system's efficiency, researchers at Newt combined commercially available membranes with nanoparticles that convert light into heat. Doing so means that the membrane itself heats up, so you don't need a steady supply of hot water, just sunlight.